Wholesaling real estate is the perfect way to make an active income and build a real estate investing business for investors in New Mexico. Now, the process involves finding discounted properties, getting them under contract, and then selling those contract rights to an end buyer who's typically a fix and flipper at a higher price. Now in this video, I'm going to cover how to wholesale real estate step by step in New Mexico by going into the strategies we've used to successfully wholesale and flip houses over the last decade. And be sure to download our state-by-state guide on how to wholesale real estate in the description down below. So first off, what is wholesaling real estate when it comes to New Mexico? Well, wholesaling is a strategy where the investor, you, secures the rights to purchase a property and then sells those rights to another buyer for a profit. And the most common method used to sell the contract rights is called the assignment of contract. Now, here's an example of how wholesaling works at a high level. Let's say you find a property that is in a distressed condition and you're able to get it under contract at the price of $200,000. Now, instead of going all the way through and actually buying the property yourself, you simply get that property under contract at the price of $200,000 and you sell the contract for $210,000. And now what you make is the difference between the $200,000 price where you got it under contract at and the $210,000 price where your end buyer is buying it at. So in this example, there's a $10,000 difference and you earned that $10,000 as a wholesale profit. And this was all without actually having to buy the property yourself. You just had to get the property under contract initially. So at a high level, this is how wholesaling works in New Mexico, but now let's dive into each step. Step number one for wholesaling real estate in New Mexico is picking your real estate market. And what we recommend to get started is to actually start where you're located in New Mexico. For example, if you're in Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, or Roswell, then start in the city and county you're already living in. And we recommend this because you're already local to the area. You can drive to a property to view it when you need to. You can also meet with the real estate agents who are listing and selling great distressed properties that you can wholesale in the area. You can actually physically go up and meet up with them. Additionally, when you start in your own local market, you already know more than you think you know. So for example, you probably know the good areas of the cities and the counties. You probably know the bad areas. You know where new developments are going on. You know where there's crime and you know where there's homeless. And all of this knowledge can actually give you an edge and an advantage against others who don't know this info, because all these factors will affect the desirability and the price of the properties that you're wholesaling, which is very important to running a profitable business. So for step number one, we recommend picking your real estate market, which is the city and county you are currently in. Now, step two for wholesaling in New Mexico is finding 3 to 5 quality and local cash buyers in your area that you can wholesale deals to. So cash buyers are real estate investors, typically fix and flippers, that are buying multiple deals per month and want to work with wholesalers. They want you to bring them these deals you are getting under contract. And so what we recommend is finding these cash buyers first so you can find out the exact deals that they want and where they like to buy these deals. Now, for example, some cash buyers may only want to buy in Rio Rancho, but if you're located in Albuquerque, then we want to find cash buyers that are buying in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And this will greatly increase the likelihood of your success and allow you to get the highest wholesale fees possible, because you are now bringing the exact fit, the exact type of properties that your cash buyers want to them, right? You're not bringing them a deal that's 5 counties over. You're bringing them the exact deal they want in the area that they want. So how do we find these cash buyers? Well, let me tell you about our Google Ninja trick. So if you're located in Albuquerque and you want to find cash buyers there, then go to Google and type in "sell my house fast Albuquerque." And what will appear in the organic search results of Google are real estate investors who've invested into their website so that they can rank organically for those search terms. And it's because these investors, they are cash buyers, they want to find motivated sellers. They want motivated sellers to actually come to them. So what we do is we work smarter, not harder. We pretend we are a motivated seller who types this phrase into Google, who's interested in selling this house. And we then find the actual cash buyers in Albuquerque on the internet using Google. Now, of course, this isn't something that takes hours. This can actually take minutes to find cash buyers in New Mexico using this specific strategy. And if you want our free guide on how to best find cash buyers using this strategy, meaning there's going to be more keywords, more phrases, so you can find even more that can pay you $10,000 plus per wholesale deal, then just go to realestateskills.com/Google or go to the description and I put that link in there. Now, this is just one of several ways to find cash buyers, so be sure to check out our YouTube channel if you want to learn more ways. Now, step number 3 is finding deals on the MLS. The MLS is the multiple listing service. This is the database of all motivated seller leads on the market in your area. And it is one of the most powerful tools for finding properties that you can wholesale. And when it comes to the MLS, here is a strategy that we love for finding great wholesale deals. It's called our Day Zero strategy. With this strategy, you find all the new listings that have came on the market in the last 24 hours, and we find those listings, let's say there's 50, and we look for the distressed listings that are in there. So there might only be 5 or 10 out of the 50, and we want to focus and give those ones our attention. And why we love this day zero strategy is because these are brand new, listed, distressed properties that need to go to an investor for all cash. So why not you, right? They're going to go to a real estate investor, they're going to go to a wholesaler, they're going to go to a fix and flipper. And if you can be first to the punch, first to call the real estate agent, then you have a high likelihood of being able to get this property under contract if you give them a great offer. So throughout the years, us and our clients have been able to acquire dozens and dozens and dozens of properties because we were the first ones to call on a specific distressed deal using this day zero strategy. And we gave the agent and the seller an offer that they liked. So this is one of our favorite strategies. And if you want to learn how to get even more out of the MLS when it comes to wholesaling, flipping, even investing into cash flowing rentals, then just go to realestateskills.com/watch. I created an awesome training and you're going to get a ton out of it. Now for step number 4 for wholesaling real estate in New Mexico is now calling and talking to real estate agents. So once you use the strategy that I told you, you've identified the property. Now you want to call that actual real estate agent who is in charge of the deal. Now, the great thing about the MLS is that typically that agent's contact information, so their phone number, their email is on there. So it's very easy to reach out to them and give them a call. And what you want to do in this call is actually make sure that the property is distressed and that this is going to go to a real estate investor, meaning it's an all cash purchase. And keep in mind, this is very important. We only want to call on properties that are in a distressed condition and need fixing up. They need renovation. They need to be updated. And additionally, where the seller is in a distressed situation. Now, a lot of the times when we're looking at a property in the description of it, the agent's not going to type out and tell us immediately what type of situation that seller is in. A lot of times, this information is going to come up on the phone conversation with the agent. So that's why we need to give them a call. This is why it's very important, just one of the reasons why it's very important, to figure out the seller's situation and what's their motivation to sell. And from this call with the real estate agent, we get additional information about the property. Like what type of renovation does it need? Are there any special features about this particular house that the neighbors don't have? And what does the agent think that this house will sell for in its best possible condition after the renovation? And on this call, we extract the information and we call this the discovery call because we are discovering more about this particular deal. Now, once we get all this necessary information that's so vital to closing a wholesale real estate deal, we can now then analyze the deal. So now it's time for step 5, right? We found the distressed deal. We called the real estate agent. We verified it needs to go to an investor. It's all cash. Now it's time to determine a few numbers through analysis. The first important number is called the ARV. This stands for the after repair value. And this is the estimated future market value of the subject property after it's been repaired. The next important number is to determine the cost of repairs. This is the estimated amount that it takes to repair this property to its best possible condition. And from there, we then decide on our desired wholesale fee, which in a lot of cases, we like to put $10,000. We feel that $10,000 is a very fair amount for the work that we put into a deal and to assign those contract rights. And sometimes you can make a lot more and sometimes you may make a bit less. Now, lastly, we're able to determine the purchase price. This is the actual offer price you'll be offering on the property and where you will be getting it under contract. Now, a common formula used in order to find your maximum allowable offer price is where you actually start by multiplying your ARV by 70%. So let me give you an example. Let's say the ARV was $500,000. You multiply that by 70%, which would be $350,000. From there, you subtract the estimated repair costs, which in this example, we can say is $40,000. So you subtract $40,000 from $350,000. We then have $310,000. Then subtract your desired wholesale fee. Let's say it's $10,000 in this case. Now you're left over with $300,000. And this now gives you your maximum allowable offer price. So what this means now is if you get the property under contract at $300,000, you have a very high likelihood of being able to wholesale it to a cash buyer and make your $10,000 wholesale fee. Now, of course, 70% is a simple rule of thumb, and a quick pro tip is if you want to have more competitive offers, what we recommend is using 80% of the ARV rather than 70%. And this is because it will allow you to offer at a higher price and it will allow you to be more competitive while still giving you a very high likelihood of being able to make a $10,000 wholesale fee on the deal. Now, what I personally use and all my students use to wholesale and flip houses and get our analysis down to a T is our actual deal calculator. And I highly recommend utilizing this calculator because this is what the professionals do. And if you want to give that a spin, give it a go, you can get that at realestateskills.com/calculator. And you can plug in all of your numbers to analyze your wholesale deals in New Mexico and get your exact wholesale fee amount. Now, once you've analyzed the deal, it's time for step number 6, which is submitting offers and negotiating. This is arguably the most important step because you cannot get a deal under contract. You cannot wholesale a house, invest into a house. You can't flip a house, buy a cash flowing rental property unless you submit an offer. So in this step, it's absolutely vital to send professional offers, meaning you do not want to send an offer that has a 60-day closing time frame when the seller wants to close in 21 or 14 days. Additionally, we need to use contract terms that real estate agents are familiar using with real estate investors. So for example, a clean professional offer and some familiar terms for investors is going to be an offer with minimal contingencies and a quicker closing time frame, such as a 7-day inspection contingency and a 14-day close. Now, this is a pretty quick closing time frame that a lot of sellers who are in a distressed situation typically need so that they can get out of the situation that they're in. Quick example, if someone is facing a foreclosure sale and it's happening in 14 days, well, they need an offer before that sale actually happens. So you may need to close in 10 days or 11 days or 12 or 13 days. Just a quick example of when you need a tight closing time frame. Now keep in mind with most offers, the earnest money deposit, also known as the EMD, is very, very common. This is a good faith deposit that you put down on the property and it's typically due within 72 hours of getting the property under contract. And these deposits can range anywhere from $500 to $10,000. And it really just depends on what's most common in your area and the price points of the properties that we're getting under contract. Additionally, this deposit is typically refundable, but always be sure to check out the contract and what's on there. They're usually refundable, but the contract is a law of the land, so always be sure to check it. And if you want to use the contracts that we use for wholesaling real estate in New Mexico, you can go ahead and download those for free at realestateskills.com/contracts. And I'll put that in the description as well. Now, one of the most important pro tips I can give you about wholesaling without any risk in New Mexico is to always include a 7-day inspection contingency in your contract, or at least just any inspection contingency. So what this does in this example gives you 7 days to inspect the property and 7 days to back out of the property due to the inspection. So this is your back out clause, which is very important when wholesaling real estate. We always need a back out clause. And a 7-day inspection contingency is pretty standard. Sometimes you may need to adjust it to 3 days, 5 days, or 7 days, whatever it is, to actually make your offer more attractive when talking to real estate agents. And keep in mind, you want to be a solutions provider. So if the seller needs 26 days exactly to close, then don't tell them, hey, we're closing in 14 days, that's it. No, be accommodating. Say, okay, cool. We will close in 26 days and make that your closing time frame. That way you are accommodating and you have your offer be more attractive. So always be sure to be accommodating with your terms to the seller because this will get you ahead of the competition. This will show the seller, this will show the agent that you're working with them, not against them. And to be successful in wholesaling, it's about a lot of these little things that add up to making a successful offer work. Now, in order to make your offers more professional and credible, always include a proof of funds on each and every offer that you send. This is documentation that says you have access to the funds needed in order to purchase the property. Now, there are many ways to get these from hard money lenders, private money lenders, but you need this proof of funds in order to be taken seriously and get your offers accepted. And if you want to download my free guide on how to get a proof of funds instantly and for free, just go to realestateskills.com/proof and I'll walk you through 2 different ways to get it instantly. Now it's time for step 7, our favorite step, which is closing the deal and collecting your check. This is the final stage where you are going to assign your contract rights to the end buyer, and that end buyer is going to officially close on the deal by paying the seller for the property. You will sign the contract by letting the title and escrow companies know the assignment terms by sending them your assignment contract. This contract will outline your wholesale fee for the transfer of property rights and is signed by all parties involved in order to solidify the assignment. Once again, you can grab an example of this assignment contract by going to the description down below. Now, once the deal is officially closed, you will either be wired the wholesale fee to your bank account or get cut a check from the title and escrow company. In this case, this might have been a $10,000 fee, $15,000 or $20,000 fee that you've received as your profit on this deal. And that's exactly how you wholesale real estate in New Mexico. Now, wholesaling isn't just about doing one deal and stopping. It's about getting to the point of doing multiple wholesale deals every single month. And from wholesaling and flipping and investing in rental properties for over 12 years, one thing is very clear, that there's still an abundance of opportunity out there. And anyone can get started in real estate, especially by starting with wholesaling. Whether you have a full-time job or a part-time job, you can build a real estate business. You can go ahead and get started and evolve as a real estate investor by starting with wholesaling. And as mentioned, I actually have a free training that walks you through our MLS process for finding deals consistently and predictably. And if you want to check it out, just go to realestateskills.com/watch. And in this training, I'm going to cover number 1, the best place to find and flip wholesale deals. 2, how to get these deals on demand 24/7, 365 with predictability from the MLS. And 3, how to close deals with buyers who are actually ecstatic to work with you and pay you the large wholesale fees. I'm talking $10,000 plus. Now, obviously, there's no obligation or risk to you watching the training, and chances are you'll walk away from it with some great ideas on how to improve your business, just like the wholesalers and real estate investors in our community that are using these methods to get deals around the clock. This is Alex Martinez with realestateskills.com. Happy wholesaling, and I'll see you in the next one.